This mama here has just had her babies here a couple of days ago. We call her Smiley. We have the tags in the truck, so hopefully we can figure out where she located them, because a lot of times, so goats are a lot different like than the sheep are. Tyler said they're like deer, and that's a very, very accurate statement, because the sheep keep their lambs with them whenever they're moving and they're grazing 24/7. But the goats, they're a lot like deer. They will put their baby in a specific spot. They'll remember that spot. They'll go off and browse and graze and get water for hours at a time. They'll come back to that location, feed their babies, especially within that first 2 weeks. That first 2 weeks, those mamas will not have their babies with them. After that, the babies start to travel with them a little bit more and more as the weeks go on, until, you know, they're about this size and they start moving with the herd, like all these babies are. But those first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of life, those babies are huddled up, left under a tree or a brush pile somewhere, and mama comes back and feeds them and goes on about her day, and comes back and goes and comes back and goes like that for 2 or 3 weeks. So we're using our tracking system here to try and find where the herd is. We've got 3 dogs out here, and 2 of the dogs have collars, tracking collars on them that ping every, what is it, 15 minutes?
About 15 minutes, but we can up it if we need to have it constant. We can. It's just every 15 minutes, and that seems to do just fine. The dogs, if they do get out, we can find them pretty quick, and they don't run when they see us or anything like that. So they are pretty easy to find, honestly.
This pasture's pretty big pasture. It's really long. And it's not as wide, but looks like they're right up here.
And they're very back. This is the first time I've seen them all the way back here. Normally they're up closer to the front part where we first put them out. So it's interesting to see them finally back here. They realized they could come all the way this far.
But we've recently had about I don't know, probably about 2.5 inches of rain within the last 2 weeks. Everything's really starting to shoot up, and you couldn't even tell that they were in here in some spots.
It's nice to have those trackers, because most of the time you can find the goats through the dogs.
Yes.
So 99% of the time those dogs are with the goats, and that way we can find them because of the trackers with no problem. Even the sheepies are over here.
Yep, we got all the sheep in here.
Back up so you can get out. So probably that fence. There's one of the dogs at tracker now.
And this is the benefit of bucket training your livestock. As soon as you come around, they come to you. We've given these guys in the past, when we come out here, we bring out a little bit of feed and to keep them coming to us. And that helps when we start to rotate pastures. Here comes more of them from the back here. This is our charging system here. It's just a little Walmart box that you get at Walmart for, I don't know, 10 bucks. And we drill holes in it so we can get our cords through and everything stays watertight. We got our grounding rods 10 feet apart. It's in the sun probably 90% of the day. Trying to talk over all these animals screaming. But you can already see they've started to get after these trees that are on this fence line. They've already started to get up, standing up on top of that tree.
The first thing they've been hitting is all the brush and trees, of course, because since goats are browsers, they do like the brushy stuff versus the grass, which is nice to have the sheep in here because they'll help graze it down and
Even look.
yes, exactly.
That's one of the reasons we got the sheep is a lot of the people that we lease the land from, they kind of want an even look on what we're clearing with our animals. And the goats, like Tyler said, are browsers, so they're gonna go after the brush first, more or less than the grass. And by the time it's time to move them on to another pasture, they may not have eaten all that grass. And especially in the springtime, when you have those cool season grasses, you want to eat those cool season grasses down enough to where when it starts getting warmer, your warm season grasses get a chance to sprout up and grow, and that way you have good protein grass year round. The problem we saw last year was by the time we were ready to move the goats, we weren't seeing an even cut across the pasture because they weren't really eating the grass. They were going after the invasive brush and mesquite and saw vines like this. They've already picked this saw vine off. So we got the sheep in order to graze that grass down while the goats take care of the brush. And we saw it in the fall time and in the early spring and the late winter. We saw when stuff started coming up that they were really meeting that expectation. So pretty happy with them. They've got feed in here for at least 2 months or more, especially if we keep getting this rain. I think this is about 10,000 feet or more of this electric net wire stuff. But they're back here. It's a beautiful day. They're having a good time. And all this cool season stuff here, they're gonna eat and spread the seed out for next year. And then by the time it's time to move them, all those warm season grasses are gonna start coming up. So a lot of these sheep should start having their lambs here shortly. We're gonna let them lamb out in this pasture. We're not gonna do much interference with that. But a lot of the goats have already kidded out. There's still probably about, I don't know, 15% of them still to go. We also have a trial that we're running here. We have a younger billy in here with these kids from last year, all these green tags, like these right here, this one here. We're gonna run a little experiment again this year and see if they're gonna get covered for fall kids. I've already seen him get after some of them, so we are expecting some fall kids this year, or this fall, from these kids from last year, like this one here. A lot of these girls are still slicking off, so their coats look a little off and weird, but here probably in the next month everybody's gonna look slick and shiny. Here's another example of what they can do here. This tree, this low tree, yeah, that's Sandy. This young tree here, they're getting after it, and all this little brush, they're in heaven here, goat heaven. And then this back part of this pasture is pretty heavily wooded, and it kind of just takes along. There's a giant creek bed that runs through here. But then the benefit of this pasture as well is there's a lot of open area as well. So there's a lot of grass that comes up in here. So we're forcing the goats to be grass eaters, as well as doing their natural browsing on the brush.
Come here, girls. Going in the sand.
Like we said, we had 3 dogs in here. There's 2 right there, Worm and Rip. We're not sure where Remy is right now. She's probably out patrolling the fence line or something. I'm sure we will find her here shortly. But as for right now, there's that young Billy that we have in here. There, we call him Gandalf. They're bath bathing here. And there's some goats over there fighting for whatever reason. But like we said earlier, there's about 15% of them left to still have babies, but they're all...
Or hopefully this big fat white one that you see, the sheep, hopefully she'll have a baby.
Yep, she's got a bag going. Is that Gertie?
Yes.
Oh.
Don't you know?
Yep.
Right.
This mama here has just had her babies here a couple of days ago. We call her Smiley. We have the tags in the truck, so hopefully we can figure out where she located them, because a lot of times, so goats are a lot different
like deer
than the sheep are. Tyler said they're like deer, and that's a very, very, very accurate statement, because the sheep keep their lambs with them whenever they're moving and they're grazing 24/7. But the goats, they're a lot like deer. They will put their baby in a specific spot. They'll remember that spot. They'll go off and browse and graze and get water for hours at a time. They'll come back to that location, feed their babies, especially within that first 2 weeks. That first 2 weeks, those mamas will not have their babies with them. After that, the babies start to travel with them a little bit more and more and more as the weeks go on, until, you know, they're about this size and they start moving with the herd, like all these babies are. But those first 2 weeks, 3 weeks of life, those babies are huddled up, left under a tree or a brush pile somewhere, and mama comes back and feeds them and goes on about her day, and comes back and goes and comes back and goes like that for 2 or 3 weeks. So we're not sure where she's got them hit up at. Maybe somewhere close, maybe somewhere farther over by the water, or where we keep the loose mineral. But if we find them while we're out here walking around, we will tag them and put them in this video. Where's your babies, mama? Like I said, this pasture's pretty big and very, very thick, so she could have them hit up somewhere, but she knows exactly where they are. They're only a couple days old. Here's a bottle baby we had last year. She slicked off. She lost her winter coat. She's looking good. That's why she doesn't have a tag in her ear. Tyler knows who she is. That's Sandy. There's a good little buckskin kid right there. Little Billy kid. But there's so much to eat in here. Such a different variety of browse and grass. And then also there's some weeds in here that the goats will take care of. A lot of people think this thistle here, the goats won't eat this thistle, but they will. They will eat this thistle. People think, oh, it's poisonous. Just like anything, if you eat enough of it, it's bad for you. But if you eat it in quantities and you give them other stuff to eat as well, they will pick at it, they will eat it, and they will eventually kill it. And that is another reason why these goats are in here, is to get rid of this dang invasive weed that we call thistle. So you can see here they've nibbled on it, on all this. So if you ever wondered if goats will eat your thistle, they will. We are back here towards the corner of the pasture. This side of the fence is got a pretty decent goat fence on it. The first ever we've been able to use, but there is a hole that we have to patch. We'll take you over to this creek bed here and how we decided we wanted to cross the creek. But This is Tyler's patch job that she did the other day.
I didn't have anything else. I had a bungee and a dog leash. This is 6. That's all you need. You can see that there's been animals coming in and out. If you pick the camera up and look over there, there's trails. I don't know, hopefully you can see them, but the dogs ran something out. That's how I found it. And then now we're just gonna go ahead and patch it.
You found out where they were with that collar.
Yes.
She was able to pinpoint exactly where the hole in the fence was with that collar. So that right there
It's worth
the money that we pay, which is about $100 each collar a year.
Yeah, and then the collar themselves, I think, is like 200. Put on this side.
So, well, that's it, that side, so whatever tries to come in has the So here's how we cross this creek here. We use some timeless posts and even a fiberglass rod. So that way when the water rushes through, it doesn't take the fence with it.
It'd have to be a pretty heavy rain,
yeah,
like 5 inches for us to be concerned.
But those timeless posts are in the ground probably about 2 feet, 18 inches or so. And then we just use some string to tie to it. 3/4 inch or fiberglass rod there, and then I shattered this one going in there. So yeah, that's what it looked like before. That would have been a little secret tunnel for the goats and the dogs. But when we come right up this hill here, we've gotten pretty good at jumping over this fence with it on. Ugh. They've already started hitting a lot of this stuff that's belly button high or so.
More like titty.
Nipple high. Like that there. Like that there. And that's what we mean when we say goats are browsers. They kind of just snip, 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 move on, snip, 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 move on. And then the sheep give us that even graze look. But like we said, this pasture is so big that they haven't even made a dent on it yet.
All you can tell is the butt
underbite. We had to clear most of this lane by hand. So we can come in here with the four-wheeler and we have enough space to turn around down there, but with the truck we do not. So if we're not in the four-wheeler, which the four-wheeler stays here, it's just at the front side of the pasture, we will just hop off and walk that to check it. But that is the beauty of having those collars on those dogs, is if the dog collar is pinging within the fence line, then we know the fence isn't down for the most part.
Okay, so Remy is my snake bite dog, and so anytime she goes like missing or I can't find her, because she always comes, I get extremely worried. But I don't know where she was. We've been hollering for her and she just now came. She was probably taking a nap.
Or she's with those newborn babies somewhere.
And there are newborn babies out here. She very well could have been just laying with them, because she is my one that will guard fawns and do things like that and not let any of the other dogs get to them. But yeah, so Remy's alive. Everyone cheer, because I thought she was dead.
You want to take her to the pond?
Oh yes, we can. Come on, Rem. Let's go pond. But Remy is the only guard dog that I have that will 100% follow if gate's open or if I let her out, she'll jump right in the truck with me. After she spent 2 months in the house dying and doctoring her, she's very much bonded to us in the sense that she'll listen to what we say even if she doesn't want to do it. So when I can't find her, it's usually very stressful. So this is our water source in this pond, and this is one of the goats' favorite spots to hang out. The babies love this hill. Oh my, geez. It's a pretty good sized pond, quite large. Here, I'll give you a quick view. So, and if they go up even higher, they can get a better view, but usually dogs hang out right here and get a quick glance at everything. Hi, man. Oh, here's the pond. I know there's turtles and stuff in it. I don't know if there's fish. We're not big fish people. Oh, there goes the frog. So, now you would think the goats would want to come drink this because it's like a bigger, probably healthier water source. But they also like to drink out of the pig wallows, real nasty, little muddy puddles. So, and there's lots of those in this pasture. So they come here, but they also go drink nasty puddles. There's a little frog. Oh. Okay, bye.
Thirsty girl.